What am I talking about today? Well, I'm talking about fake stakes. And you might be asking, well, what are fake stakes? Well, it's when a series, has a how do I put this? A certain percentage chance of like something such as death occurring, but it's kind of fake. Like you know that this isn't going to happen, right? There is a, in reality, right, you have a percentage chance of something happening, but in this fictional world, it doesn't exist, right? You know the main character is probably not going to die, and you know if they do die, they'll probably come back in some way. So it's kind of like, what's the point? So I'm going to do a little series here, and it's just about pet peeves, and I think the first one should be fake stakes, because it's probably the most common one you see, as well as one of the ones that really frustrates me, to say the least. I have a lot of pent-up aggression towards this, because it's one of the most common things, and it's very annoying, and I know it has to happen, but it's something that I just hate. So, I'm going to go through this in a little bit of a style, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things. I think the first portion I'd like to talk about would just be percentage chances, right? Of basic rudimentary ideas. So let's say you have a potion, right? You have a potion, there's a certain chance that this kills a character. If you drink this potion, and this is a common thing that you'll see in a lot of fantasy stories, for example, there's a potion, item, pill, and if a character chooses to drink said potion, they might die. Or they might gain some sort of power boost or something. Now, this to me is a very frustrating concept, and you might ask, like, oh, well, why? I mean, it's fun as long as you're gripped in the series or whatever. In my opinion, it takes me out of the series, because I know that as soon as the main character decides to take this potion, they're not going to die, right? I know they're not going to die. I know they're going to take this potion and gain a power boost. So it's almost irrelevant. What's the point, right? I think the first thing that comes to my mind with this is, I don't know, let's say you have, like, Krillin, right? Krillin gets messed up in a fight or something, right? This is an example of the death thing, right? So let's say they do have this percentage chance of dying. Do I think Krillin is going to be permanently dead? No. Obviously not. It would be silly to think he's going to die forever, right? It's one of the, and that's why I find it so frustrating, because it's like, okay, why even put this potential risk if I feel no danger from it, right? And even if Krillin does die, right? Let's say, they axe him off, he's dead. Oh no, what a shame. He's gonna come back. There's no stakes to that death. They're fake stakes. It's basically like, who the hell cares? I don't care. Now let's talk about some other fake stakes, right? I'm just gonna go through some examples, and then I'll kind of sporadically say why I don't like it. So let's say you get in a fight, right? Krillin gets in a fight. He gets destroyed, right? And he's fighting some like secondhand, just villain, right? Like somebody that is a jobber, right? But he's getting messed up. He's getting annihilated. You know that at some point during that fight, he's just going to get a power boost, right? He's going to get super OP, and he's just going to annihilate this other character. That's an example of fake stakes. I know in this fight he is not going to lose. If he gets in this fight, I can tell right off the bat which character is going to win. There are no stakes. I know most people don't care about this. I think that's fine. But to me, it's so... just reading a story like that is very frustrating when it's focused and fixated on fights, but you know who's going to win. And I think that's why, sporadically you'll see this change. You'll see someone else come out on top that the community at large didn't expect. And the reason that blows up and people really, talk about that is because it's surprising, right? They don't think that their main character is going to lose, because typically they don't. And that's because there's fake stakes. People, they'll make it seem like, oh, there's a chance he loses or whatever, but he's not. And even if they do, there's going to be no consequences, right? That's the thing about fake stakes. They don't necessarily have to be before the fight starts, they could also be after, as in there's no consequences. If Krillin dies, there's a high chance he just gets revived 20 seconds later. So it's like, well, what's the point? What exactly was the issue there? He's just, he's just fine, right? And that's why fake stakes to me are very frustrating. Again, I want to make it clear this video is about pet peeves, not necessarily something that I think is a problem in every case. I think these, this is fine, and I think most people probably like it, but it really annoys me. I just, when there's, there's no real worry, right, in this situation. Another good example, I talk about a lot of romantic-esque stories on this channel, or stories that involve, some sort of romance in some way, or, one way or another. So let's say in a scenario, you have John, and you have Lynn over here, and they're, oh man, they're in love, right? They love each other. They're so, But you need to carry on a story, right? You need the story to continue. You can't just end the story, right? So what does an author do? Well, okay, they create fake stakes, right? Like, oh man, they're about to break up. Oh no, oh geez, there's something that's coming in the way of these, these two, this couple, and it's, oh man, there's nothing they can do about it. Oh, everything's gonna go wrong in this romance story with the two romantic male leads just out of nowhere. That is an example of fake stakes. That's not necessarily what you'd expect, right? It's not necessarily like, oh, gambling or something. No, it's fake stakes in terms of these two, that they're going to get together. The entire point of the story is that they're going to get together. So why even try to break this up? You know it's going to happen. You know exactly what's going to happen. So why even do it, right? What's the point in even having it overall, right? Those are fake stakes. They mean nothing. Now, I want to get something clear. Like I said multiple times, fake stakes do not necessarily mean that the story is bad. It's just frustrating when they are plain as day. So, like I said, if you're in a situation of a romance story, that is plain as day. These two characters are going to get together. So, why even bother? Once they get together, oh, they're loving each other, and then break it up for some random reason. It's like there's no agency here. I am not concerned about these characters. I am not worried. Those are the kinds of situations that annoy me. It's not necessarily every case of fake stakes. It's just one of those things where most of the time I see these stories not using it so efficiently, and it gets very frustrating to see these things. Now, I don't want to get this wrong. Like, it's not necessarily like, it's not like, oh, these specific scenarios. No, it's just in general the idea of there is a percentage chance of something happening in reality, or there is a chance of something happening. It's not a guarantee one way or another, right? These are the scenarios in which there has to be a believable reason as to why something goes wrong, and personally, I enjoy series that don't necessarily have a fixated main cast. So, I don't know. I'm thinking of like Hunter x Hunter, I guess, where, there's a very large cast of characters in Hunter x Hunter. So if a character dies, I wouldn't necessarily be, horrendously shocked, right? Like if a villain or something dies. Now, Hunter x Hunter, I'm not saying is perfect. They definitely have issues. I'm not going to get into any spoilers, but there are characters that come back to life, but those are fine. I think those are well done examples of fake stakes that don't necessarily piss me off, but a lot of stories don't necessarily know how to do that. I also want to say there's one other slightly less common and less prominent scenario of fake stakes, and that involves money. So there are certain stories where money is money's a factor, right? A lot of stories you don't really think about it, but like, they're just spending money willy-nilly, who the hell cares, right? But every once in a while, right, a story has a little bit of a money element to it. And one of my least favorite things, and you might have noticed from the video's thumbnail, is gambling in these stories. Because gambling, there are two outcomes realistically in any story. A super bad, if we take a little bit of a line here, there's a super bad outcome or there's a super good outcome. Every story has these two. You never just go into a gambling hall and get in the middle in like a manga or an anime. No, of course not. It's always you lose real bad or you win really, really big, right? So at the end of the day, what the hell's the point? Why am I even watching this? And, some cases they can do it comedically, and that's fine if you do it a little bit comedically or whatever. But you'll see a lot of the times where they have like these gambling elements, or they have this idea of like a gotcha, for example. Why? You know the main character is going to get the best thing, or the thing that they need at that time, or they're never going to get the thing they need, and it's going to be a joke that they never get the thing that they need. So there's no point. There's no stakes. And then some series try to make it seem like this actually has some impact on the world, when in reality it doesn't. I don't know. This ended up being a bit of a rant. I don't know. This is one of those things when I don't have a story to talk about, I'm just going to make a video on pet peeves or some other fun idea. If you have any other ideas, let me know below. I don't really care. I'll talk about anything, really. As long as it's something I have some interest in. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I would appreciate some fun ideas to talk about when I don't have a story lined up. But, yeah, I mean, I think that's about it. Like, comment, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. I'll see ya.